Your Excellencies, distinguished visitors, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank General Mubarak and his team for allowing me to share the stage with their Excellencies and to discuss from the U.S. government perspective the importance of technology security, the security in the title of the conference, from the perspective of being able to protect the technology and the role that my organization plays and the Department of Defense plays in that protection, and also the benefits that a united protection gives us as we approach and work towards a more integrated work amongst our close allies and partners. This is indeed an honor for me to share the stage at this inaugural event. It is really a milestone with regard to our ability to work with one another and also our ability to share and advance technology protection going forward. I am honored and recognize that this is an initial event on defense technology security, and I commend our hosts for putting together, quite honestly, a very robust and key dialogue, not only on technology security, but also on critical and emerging technologies. My colleagues and I from the U.S. government will give more details with regard to specific aspects of the very vast technology protection roles played by the U.S. government within the Department of State, the Department of Commerce, other directorates, and also within the Department of Defense. Various agencies, services do critical work in protecting technology and working with each other, and working both from a unified perspective within the U.S. government, a whole of government approach to how we do this. If I could, I'd like to take my opportunity here to discuss the role that my organization plays and the critical role that the Department of Defense plays, not only in protecting technology, and this is in line very much with the National Defense Strategy that we are developing currently, but more importantly, it helps us better understand the critical emerging technologies that Dr. Briari and His Excellency provided in their comments that are really critical to the future and the nature of where technology is going as we advance in protection. First and foremost, from the perspective of my organization, it is critical to protect the warfighter and to protect the systems that warfighter uses, and by extension, the systems that our close partners and allies share, because the protection of that technology enhances their capabilities, but it also leads to better interoperability and better support. Key part of the National Defense Strategy is this integration with technology and protection and giving the warfighter the assets he needs. Another critical part, as I spoke earlier, is the ability for us to share with close partners and allies the technologies that are needed to better support a more interoperable nature. As His Excellency noted, there are many threats to the environment, and it is really countering that competition, those threats to technology acquisition and the proliferation of the undermining technologies or the use of those technologies to advance the negative nature that His Excellency Dr. Briari mentioned, that it really is at the heart of my organization and also at the Department of Defense look at really ensuring that we do not allow the proliferation and negative impacts that technology transfer or technology acquisition by malign actors in the world can endanger not just U.S. national security, but close allied and partner national security as well. As I mentioned, that strategic competition, from our perspective, from the Defense Department, there are many threats to technology acquisition. There's many malign actors out there who are attempting to get key capabilities, key technologies, advancements, again, to support malign activity around the world. Iran, Russia, China are, to name a few of those countries that we look at very, very closely with regard to technology acquisition. In particular, China, we see as very aggressive, both from a legal and an illegal manner in trying to obtain the technology that is critical for their proliferation sometimes with regard to systems that undermine the general order within, within the world. And it is this very nature of that activity, that attempts to obtain technology, where it's critical to have that close working relationship with key partners and allies, like-minded countries approaching and looking at technology protection in a manner that provides support, again, for national securities across and the nature of what we're trying to achieve. The better we can protect that technology as a group and as support, the better we are able to advance, quite honestly, our common interests and our common national security. We work closely with regard to the Department of Commerce and State on national security reviews of technology transfers. My organization reviews both the munition side of licensing as well as the dual use Department of Commerce licensing aspects. And primarily we're looking at not just supporting our partners and allies with regard to international engagements and technology security, but also to ensure that the dual use technologies that go out do not go into the hands of actors that can advance military end uses or military end users in, as I said, those malign countries. We work very closely on technology release and foreign disclosure policy with the services, Undersecretary for Acquisition and Sustainment, Undersecretary for Research and Engineering, and it's really the levels of the release that we evaluate that allows technology to go out, again, to support national security goals and also to support better interoperability with our key partners and allies. As I indicated earlier, it is really this whole of government approach, working from the interagency perspective, working internally within the Department of Defense on the Department services, Army, Navy, Air Force, as well as the other undersecretaries, that really allows us to get a very broad perspective on how we approach the very nature of technology transfer and export control. Here again is a little bit more detail with regard to some of the aspects of that working with the interagency and also working multilaterally. As I mentioned, we very much are engaged bilaterally and multilaterally in protecting technology and protecting and working with our partners and allies on critical areas like weapons of mass destruction, the multilateral regimes responsible for that technology protection, but also dual-use technology. Another area where it is critical from our perspective is to develop the infrastructure, and the infrastructure is critical to any government technology protection and technology security, is to have that infrastructure that is able to have the people in place who know the nature of the business. the equipment, the IT structures, the resources available to address, quite honestly, a very, very robust and complex picture with regard to protecting technology. And it really starts internally within the Department of Defense, but then reaches out to the rest of the interagency, working with the interagency, and then eventually, as I indicated, working with internationally with our partners and allies on key protections and emphasizing, again, the whole of government approach. One other aspect of, it's not just the technology that goes out, is exported that we review. We also work very closely with the Treasury Department with regard to foreign investment within the United States, because we very much understand that it's not just the technology that goes out, the technology that is exported, but is also infrastructure and commodities and technology that is inherent within the US system that needs to be factored in and looked at and analyzed from the protection perspective in order to achieve close supervision on what that investment criticality is. This whole of government approach enables us to have the analysts work on a number of areas with regard to factoring policies, the level of technology, interoperability requirements, the military operational impact with regard to exports or investments. And it is really the nature of this very large and complex analysis that enables us to protect key critical technologies and support the Department of Defense national security strategy. Again, I think the White House has identified a number of critical and emerging technologies and published a list of those. This is not an exhaustive list within the Department of Defense, but it again touches on the very nature of the technologies that their excellencies indicated in their presentations with regard to AI, quantum, hypersonics, those very cutting edge technologies that are coming up. And it is really conferences like this, and I, again, commend our hosts for having this conference, because it really is enable us to better understand what is emerging, what is that technology going to look like, how is it going to be utilized, how it is going to, quite honestly, or could be used from a defense perspective. And we need to better understand that, because it is really through that understanding that we can begin to analyze and develop the policies in place that enables us to better share that technology amongst our close partners and allies. And it is critical for us, not just, and again, if I could mention at one point, it's not just munitions technology, it is really dual-use technology that supports and enhances the military that we need to look at and analyze. It is just as vital to protect this nature, this technology, as it is, quite honestly, to protect the systems themselves, because they are the enablers of those military systems, and they are the enablers of the negative proliferation activities that we see in malign actors. Again, I wish to thank our hosts, General Mubarak, Your Excellency, for allowing me to speak very quickly here and to give you a sense of the nature that the Department of Defense and the US government takes in protecting key technologies. And I wish everybody a very, very fruitful conference. And thank you very much for your time and patience in listening to me. Thank you very much.